What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Shattuck Stick dropping some hot Faraga on this mic. You're watching Jet Set Shattuck, and today we're gonna actually talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. I know I'm late on covering this, but I want to kind of discuss things in a different manner. I feel like a lot of people are talking about, oh, this lines up with the leaks. I'm kind of bored of this. This isn't really anything exciting or new. And then many people getting happy about a new Mario Kart, and then subsequently, the Mario diehards getting upset at Donkey Kong's redesign. There's just a lot of talk around the Switch 2 despite us getting so little information from that reveal trailer. Like I said in my previous video, there's been a ton of leaks concerning the Switch 2, whether it be everything down to the look and design of the console to even the motherboard. And so much of what we saw in this really just lined up with the leaks. It's just a much more refined Nintendo Switch, and I think that's a good thing. Now, right off the bat, we know this thing is going to be more powerful. They haven't really revealed the specs or anything of the like yet, but in this reveal trailer, we get to see a much bigger console, much bigger Joy-Cons. Hopefully they don't drift. And I think that's actually going to be showing off the IR capabilities or the mouse functionality that they're rumored to have. On top of this, we get to look at the official Nintendo Switch 2 dock, and we also get to see a little bit of gameplay from what many are assuming, including myself, to be the next entry into the Mario Kart franchise, which should be Mario Kart 10 if I'm correct, because I think Nintendo considers Mario Kart Tour Mario Kart 9. I know it's weird, but that's just how Nintendo works. But when you look at this and you look at the leaks, it stacks up to be kind of boring in a way. And that's because I think the Nintendo Switch got so much right on the first go around. The hybrid console concept, the ability to both dock and play it on the go, it was a good handheld and it was a good console. Now, that's not to say that it didn't have issues, most notably with the Joy-Cons. I think the rails on a Joy-Con, while many people don't talk about them, are not the greatest. The console itself just didn't feel like a whole unit, and on top of that, especially if you have like one of the launch year Switches like I do, it doesn't really grip onto the Joy-Cons after a while. At some point, you'll be able to actually pull out the Joy-Cons without hitting the release mechanism. There's been a few times where I've picked up the console by the Joy-Cons and the Switch itself has fallen out. So to see the magnets is actually kind of refreshing. Many people are actually worried about the little pin board thing that connects the Switch to the Joy-Cons, but I think that'll be fine, mostly because it is magnetic and because there's kind of like a recess in the console anyways to kind of force the Joy-Con into the right position. I could be wrong, but I feel like that portion will be okay. There's also a much larger screen, which I think when you look back at when the Switch came out, it was a relatively large screen, but nowadays, especially with more, gaming handhelds on the market, it's kind of the middle of the road, so seeing a larger screen is actually pretty nice. And they haven't really increased the footprint a lot. It's still relatively thin, and it's still, what I would consider portable, which is one of the reasons I haven't really bought a handheld PC, because many of them aren't portable. If I have to carry a large bag to carry the handheld, I don't need to carry it with me. But I think it's good that the Nintendo Switch 2 is so iterative. It's going to be levels and leaps and bounds above what the current Switch is, which, to be honest, as far as I know, Capcom and like Square Enix and some other companies in Japan were the only reason why the Nintendo Switch we currently have is, in quotations, as powerful as it is, because they were going to just load that thing with 2 gigs of RAM. And Capcom said, we won't release games if you give us 2 gigs of RAM to work with. So thank you, Capcom. But in general, I think a more powerful Nintendo Switch would be, a really great thing to see. One thing I think that the Nintendo Switch had going for it in the early days is that the PS4 and the Xbox One were underpowered when they released. So even though we got the updated, mid-gen refreshes, the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro, many people were still playing on base consoles and they were getting used to the lower resolutions and the lower frame rates. And, the Switch was basically delivering a comparable experience, not all the time, but in many situations. And I actually think there's a few situations where there's a few games that even look better on the Switch, which was weird, but I think that's mostly because of time and new software technologies coming out, like TAA. It just kind of defeats the issue the Wii U had. While the Wii U was definitely more powerful than the Nintendo Wii, it was nowhere near the strength and the power of the Xbox One and the PS4. Much of the focus was on the Wii U gamepad, which I thought was an insane and really honestly awesome concept. But even though that concept really did, I think, work in many cases, the big issue with the Wii U was that it really didn't tell the average Wii owner why they should own one. The super casual audience that had bought the Nintendo Wii had moved on to mobile gaming, and the hardcore players on the Wii got what was really an undeveloped, underpowered console with a gimmick that really not a ton of games would utilize in the best of ways, but the fact that they could play the game on the screen was cool. You couldn't take the gamepad really outside of the room the console was in, but if someone was playing on the TV or wanted to watch a game or something on the TV, you could take the game on the gamepad and, play it there. And then on top of that, Nintendo needs this iterative release. I think them going the route of just adding additional power to the console is really going to help in the long run. They really have no real competition in the space. Many people may say the Steam Deck and the Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go exist, but in all honesty, those have not even sold probably a tenth or even 5% of what the Nintendo Switch has sold. And that's because it's a completely different market. And that's why I kind of think this thing is good. It's iterative, people understand what they're getting, and in all honesty, it's something that I really wanted the Switch to be day one, and that's really a console replacement. It should be able to replace my PlayStation 5, my Xbox Series, my PC, in the way those other things can replace those other things as far as gaming goes. It's modern, it's sleek, and it plays games of this generation. We've gotten rumors that Square Enix is supposed to release the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Remake games on the console, alongside a slew of other developers doing the same thing as far as, their modern titles go. So I'm excited, and I think it's, good to be excited about something like this, because that power, I think, means more than them adding a new gimmick or, creating a new gimmick. Yeah, the mouse thing is going to be cool, but I think that's really going to be used in like RTSs and strategy games and maybe games like Mario Maker and games with level creators. But outside of that, I don't see the average person really utilizing that in a meaningful way. But I want to know how you guys feel in that comment section down below. Sorry for no face cam. Make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. Follow your boy on both Blue Sky and Twitter. Links are down below in the description. Just remember, Hot Faraga turns to Cold Blizzaga. Make sure you chill out some of my other videos. Got a new video coming soon, so watch out. Peace, and have a good one.